I don't know how long she'll last within that ice. There must be a way. I've tried my very best. And sewer, you say? But that is wonderful. My faith in you as ever well placed. At your leisure, Source Hunter. Though, for Akara's sake, we ought not to dilly-dally too long. The White Witch is quickly growing a whiter shade of pale indeed.
There she is!
I don't know how long she'll last within that ice.
A prisoner
There
in ice.
must be a way.
I wonder what sorcery, or worse, sorcery, we'll have to use to get her out.
I don't know how long she'll last within that ice. There must be a way. I don't know how long she'll last within that ice. There must be a way. I don't know how long she'll last within that ice. There must be a way. I don't know how long she'll last within that ice. There must be a way. I don't know how long she'll last within that ice. There must be a way. I don't know how long she'll last within that ice. There must be a way.
This is your White Witch, then? And you're sure you want to free her, are you? Even our mad Boreas wouldn't have wasted such precious ice on a petty criminal. Whatever she did to find herself here must have been rather severe indeed. But I am in your debt, and I would be remiss not to honor your request. Shield your eyes, Source Hunter. To melt ice of this refinement, I'll need to summon an equally rare flame.
Gods, it's colder than a witch's teat. How very callous of Leandra to inter her only sister in a barren tundra for eternity.
Ikara, you're all right? The ice, King Boreas, and your sister. What a frigid hell you've endured.
And yet not even a frigid hell like this could induce you to put on a shirt, could it, Ahu? My old friend, surely I have you to thank for my salvation.
That honor goes to a pair of talented source hunters, actually. If not for their efforts, I'd be quite uselessly prowling around your prison still.
Then perhaps I ought to address my savior directly. Source Hunter, is that the masquerade?
Well, What a motley crew we are. Isn't there somewhere a bit warmer we might discuss matters? Ah, yes, of course, of course. Do pardon me. I didn't mean to imply you were very clearly eternal beings in the guise of minor mortals. Not at all. Please, let's do carry on. Oh, yes, I suppose I am. But I do prefer my given name. Ikara, that is. Charmed. But I hope I haven't disappointed my own hero. Am I just as white and witchy as you'd hope? First things first, Source Hunter. For my freedom, I owe you every imaginable thanks. My soul had withered in this prison, and I might not have survived much longer without your help. Now, about the culprits. My corrupted sister and the mad Winter King. When I realized exactly where, and to whom Leandra was consigning me, I was certain I'd never enjoy the sun's warmth again. But neither she nor I anticipated the Source Hunter. That was her mistake, and my blessing. I never would have imagined Leandra capable of dealing with the likes of Boreas, but she has changed into someone I hardly recognize anymore. My own little sister, if you can imagine it. She was always the more ambitious, the more exacting of us, and she had no fear of the darkness that so often accompanies Source. Her collusion with King Boreas in imprisoning me here confirms my worst fears. She is planning something far greater than I could have anticipated. For this reason, and with a heavy heart, I must ask you, Source Hunter, to find out how far exactly Leandra has become entwined in the dark arts. I take no pleasure in the memory of that night. The thought of hurting anyone or anything is abhorrent to me. But in this case, I judged it necessary. If you've come this far, I trust you've learned that the Counselor was far from a humble civil servant. This doesn't excuse my behavior, but perhaps it can help to explain it. It's a sordid story, to be perfectly frank. Two sisters, a philanderous, treacherous wizard, death and mayhem. Are you sure you're interested in such things? The sparkle in your eye belies your better nature, Source Hunter. Now I know that it is your duty to get to the heart of this. And, in truth, the events of that night were but one part of a larger and much darker matter. A matter in which I'll dare to beg your assistance before we're through with one another. Now that terrible... One night, as I slept, I had a sudden revelation. No dream, but a vision. My sister Leandra and my lover Zandalor. I didn't understand, but I recognized their location. Syceel's King Crab Inn. I arrived and looked through their window, but inside, everything was wrong. Leandra had fled, and Counselor Jake stood over the wizard, a knife in his hand and hate in his eyes. As I watched, he drove the dagger deep into Zandalor's heart, and I was too late to stop him. In that moment, I broke. I saw before me not a man, not even a beast, but evil incarnate. And I used Source to slay him. On the floor lay Zandalor. In my hands, I held Jake's life force. I had sworn never to use Source, but I couldn't walk away. And so I did the unthinkable. I used the Counselor's life to save Zandalor's. He was alive, but only just.
betrayal, murder, Source. We were all of us guilty now. If you were any other Source Hunter, I suppose you'd strike me down where I stand after that terrible admission. Fortunately for us both, you are no other Source Hunter.
I hate to extend my own invitation, Source Hunter, but I believe I ought to accompany you to Zigzax's hideout. Presumptuous, yes, but I'd recognize the imp's essence just about anywhere.
Both he and you must learn more about the darkness that has extended itself into our dearest Rivellon. And I believe I know where we must begin.
But unless that's a bear flailing through the threads of time, I do believe Master Zigzax is on his way. Make way, Source Hunter, landing in 3, 2...
Hunters, you've done it! Ikara is free! Ah, what good it does my impish heart to see her safe and bright as ever! We have much to discuss. Come one and all to the end of time. A spot of something warm and the soft glow of the tapestry ought to do us all a bit of good, Ikara, now, if we're done playing hide-and-seek, let's not waste a jot more time. Oh, I just can't wait to pick your every synapse.
After you, Master Zigzax.
We've solved the murder and caught the culprit, yet this case feels anything but closed. We'll have to learn more before we can assess Ikara's true guilt in this matter. Fortunately, she seems quite eager to tell us more about this entire dark affair.
Source Hunter. I don't mean to hinder your investigation. Ready to have another look?
I am a duke, potato-eating peasant.
Let's see. Tomato.
always been close, Ahu. Pray tell me, did you know anything about his affair at the King Crown?
Come now. Do you really think he'd let me in on it in advance if he'd been planning an affair with your sister?
How can I tell? Maybe you taught him a thing or two about slinking around in between shadows.
If that were true, Ikara, he wouldn't have been murdered, resurrected, and pursued by the bringer of the apocalypse as a result now, would he?
Ha, true enough.
How might I serve our mission?
Why, I see Master Zigzags has upgraded from his shabby little hut at the edge of the hour, from the fairy dimension to the, space-time weaver hunter imp one. What do you call this place again? Ha, is that so? It seems I have my share to learn about the magical world yet. The end of time. Well, suddenly your association with Master Zigzags makes sense. Well, I must say, it's no small relief to find myself in a safe haven among such allies. I believe the answer to that begins centuries ago, when your order was still cutting down so-called dark magicians by the dozens. Ours was a family of born sorcerers, you see. It was in our blood to interact with Source. But our parents were determined to curb the power within us. Still, their meekness wouldn't save them from the Source Hunters. I am. But there is more to our kind than they teach at your academy. Source isn't only blood and madness. It's like lightning, an exquisite current of great power. We sorcerers are like metal steeples. Source is drawn to us and it flows through us. But what so many fail to understand is that Source can be controlled. The power-drunk through history have abused it, and all the world's sorcerers have borne terrible consequences. Tell me, Source Hunter, in all your hours studying the arcane arts, did your great masters ever suggest that perhaps not all sorcerers were evil? Did you ever hear, even once, that some of us were weak and gentle? That we could be simple forest folk healing the sick and frozen each winter? No. I doubt also that they'd mention that one day this hunt of yours would birth a broken soul powerful enough to inch all of Rivellon toward oblivion. No, that would be going too far, and eschewing my own responsibility. I believe Leandra's long fall down did begin at the hands of some of your own order, but it was I who sparked all of this. They came on a quiet morning. My mother was wild with fright and commanded me to hide myself and Leandra outside, among the trees. Even at that young age, we knew not to question her. Climbed high into the branches of a nearby tree, and before we could look away, our parents were cut down without ceremony before our door. The Source Hunters sauntered away, wiping their blades with pride. 2 more sorcerers dead, a job well done. From that moment on, everything was different. As we trembled in that tree, our fear and our desperation were so potent that the magic within us began to weave together. Our souls became forged together, our bond unbreakable. We would survive, thrive even within those woods, never speaking to outsiders. Our soul forge meant that if one of us were to die, the other would instantly perish too. We kept one another close.
Leandra's capacity was enormous. Source didn't frighten her, and she delved into that dark well with terrible regularity. I did my best to guide her, but she fast outgrew my admonitions. My sister and I were mired in a solitary existence, witches among the trees when Zandelor came. Leandra especially couldn't leave him be. He was a feast of information, and she wouldn't rest until she'd absorbed every bit of knowledge he offered. Their days were spent on charms, hexes, and the like. At night, Leandra would wander off to practice what she'd learned, and Zandelor and I would settle into our quiet tasks. Side by side, we were a content trio, the three of us, but base impulse would undo us. As you know, Leandra and I were soul-forged. This offered us a window into one another's souls. I knew Leandra had developed feelings for Zandelor, and she knew I had too. But it was me to whom he confessed his love. Those quiet evenings together had captured his heart, as they had mine. Her heart broke the moment we announced our new attachment, and I felt the pain of it as sharply as a knife. She fled, without a word, and I didn't see her for 2 terrible years. My connection to her, our soul forge, grew weaker. It was as though some third entity, a parasite, were atop our souls, sucking the strength from it day by day. We've a single order of business first and foremost. Leandra is gathering an army, and I fear we'll have to get through it if we wish to find her. But first, we must learn more about Leandra's plans. How many of these so-called Immaculates does she have in her palm, and to what end is she directing them? You must venture into the inner sanctum of one of the sacred Immaculate temples in Lucula Forest. Leandra has hidden it well, but within its deepest depths you'll find a hidden library. What's inside I cannot say, but I know something of great value to her. The Immaculates are no invention of Leandra's, though styling herself as its so-called conduit is, I must say, rather clever. They were an ancient religious group, countless sorcerers among them, numbering hundreds of thousands before the death of Brachus Rex and the abolishment of Source. Leandra's little cult has retaken this Immaculate banner and repurposed the ancient Immaculate temples after their own fashion. The temple you must find is particularly well hidden. You'll have to become an Immaculate yourself in order to gain access to it. If the time comes that you must reveal yourself as imposters, you'll have many an impassioned foe to face. You'll know you've reached the right place when you meet the priest who calls himself Mangoth. He protects the blood. It is he who you must ultimately defeat. I believe that our soul forge has been damaged. By what? I can only guess. The fraying of the bond between us has left Leandra adrift in a well of sorrow she truly believes will never end. What she needs is a hand, my hand, out of this abyss. If our soul forge is repaired, I am certain she'll cease blazing this path of destruction. I cannot condone the terrible things she's done, but I can seek to understand them. With our soul forge in such tatters, I believe Leandra is adrift in the not at all inconsiderable sorrows of our lives. What's more, I sense a terrible force bearing down upon the bond between us. It is hungry, and it consumes ever more of Leandra's mind and soul. I cannot say exactly what this force might be, but I'm certain it's both driving me out and driving Leandra on. If I could only repair the forge, I'm certain she'd put a stop to this madness. God's Death Knights, this is dreadful news. Worse than I could have expected. Death Knights are a terrible sign, Source Hunter. Historically, they indicate their maker's intention to wage total war. Death Knights are impervious to attack, you see. The perfect soldiers.
We must learn all we can about Leandra's plans for the army she's building. Fortunately, you seem to have found a crucial piece of the puzzle. A spell that will make her dreaded knights vulnerable to attack. Excellent work, Source Hunter. Simply excellent. Dreadful news. My sister, the so-called conduit, seems to have sunk to deception and terror to swell her numbers. If I know Leandra, she's hidden her most valuable secrets deep within their ranks. Keep exploring, Source Hunter. Your efforts will bear fruit. What's the word, Source Hunter?
Good to see you on the shelter plane. A home of... Good to see you on the shelter plane. A home away from home, is it not? Those scallywags. They are diluting Starstone with blood magic. Vile fiends. This sect, it must be stopped. Their adulteration of Starstone could hamper our efforts to undo the void. You have to trace this sect back to the very pit where it burrows. Bloodstone. The horror. Magic as dark as this. It feeds the void where we seek to starve it. Of all the wicked things, the one substance that can stand in the way of the void, and she's turning it into vessels of blight. You'll have to redouble your efforts, my friend. You'll have to find more Starstones before she does, most certainly. That must be the Hall of Flames, mustn't it? You control the elements, Source Hunter, and fire is the most inherently destructive of them all. You can learn much there that will make even the void sweat. Ah, yes, the Hall of Heroes. Once upon a time, great feasts were held there in honor of heroes graced by the gods themselves. In that room, mortals and immortals dined side by side. I can't think of a better place to gather new heroes, should you come across such rarities, so that when need, so you have the inner chamber. The tapestry has shown me that these were the personal quarters of the gods chosen too. They lived lives of opulent luxury, a well-deserved return for services rendered against the onslaught of demons and dark They are yours now. Yes, the Hall of Stone. Strong as the heart of mountains, durable as diamonds in the roar. The element that is Earth isn't the subtlest of the bunch, but it packs a punch like no other. In time, so will you. Like you, she is a mystery. But she seems to know you, doesn't she?
Source Hunter, welcome, welcome. Ah, yes, that was a small fib on my part, I'm afraid. Zandalore is known as the Keeper of the Source, after all. And I didn't know how Source Hunters would react to my association with such a colorful character.
How might I serve our mission? Leandra. She desires to be Mother of the Void, but you have the power to undo her born-in-blood litter. Though they be baptized in blood, you can cleanse the Starstones still, and use them to thwart their grim queen.
I wonder, do you know more about the Void? What it is? What lies at the heart of it?
What lies at its heart? essence of all that even the gods cannot comprehend. It eludes us, like infinity, or the finality of tick-tocking time.
What's the word, Source Hunter? You must venture into the inner... The Immaculates are no invent... Leandra's... If the time... You'll know you've reached...
What is it? I've got to stay focused. These prisoners all riot. This is my sword, this is my dagger. I turn to both when I'm tired of being grilled. What about them? Lost ones, one and all. Their only hope for redemption is to be offered up to the enlightened. No better fate for one of their kind than to become part of a greater soul. Better than they deserve, I say.
You there, human! Look, I promised not to burst your skull if you help an orc out of this cell. Oh, I'm like a whaling cooking pot in here. Luthor, I'm called. But I doubt anyone but me remembers that now. I've been in there nearly as long as a lifetime. Don't know why they haven't cut my throat like the rest. Maybe they've gone fond of their pets. Oh, I've been here since I was but a wee lad. Truth be told, these walls are just about all I know. But sunlight, there's something even a big oaf like myself couldn't forget. One day, Source Hunter, whether you help me or not, I'll feel sunlight again. Hey you! Come on! I know you must have some way of getting a big lug like myself.
Don't free me! Free me! And I'll be forever. Free me!
You, a soul hunter, aren't you?
I won't survive this damn cellar of death!
I come from a village not so far to the east of here, the Hunter's Edge by name. What remains of it, I know not. Orcs surprised us, ravaged the place, shipped off every man.
Forever loyalty! Damn our jailers! Free me! Free me! Damn this cellar of death! Damn
I've learned my lesson with your kind. Source hunter. Fat lot of good source hunter.
Damn this cellar of death!
We had a source hunter stationed right in our town. A coward called Medora. She was the first caught and the first flayed when the orcs crept in. We kept waiting for her to save us, little knowing our only default.
I won't survive this. Let us out of here!
They brought us in carts like cattle. Some of us to the mines, some here, some only to gods know where. We heard whispers from the very beginning. Blood sacrifice. Lost ones.
Not much longer. What is it? I don't make an habit of associating with your kind. Lost, you hardly look like one of we Immaculates. No, I fail to see a trace of the goddess upon you. A simple mix-up. One I'm sure my jailers will rectify as soon as they're able. My fool of an husband was caught abetting the escape of a pair of sacrifices. But surely Lady Attenborough will soon realize the error of trying me for this crime. There's none more devoted to the one way than I.
Damn this cellar of death!
I won't survive this damn much longer.
It's no
Then what good will it be to you?
Free me and I'll be forever loyal to your cause! Damn this cellar of death! Damn it!
Elias proved himself lost, and I disowned him the moment I heard of his deeds.
It's no use! It's no use at all! You free me!
And damn our
Free
jailers!
me! And I'll be forever loyal to you! I won't survive this damn much longer! Then what good will I be? Let us out of
You don't
here!
look familiar. You aren't from Silverglen, are you? No. With you, I can speak freely. I am a resident of Silverglen. A woman imprisoned for being fool enough to speak against these blasted Immaculates. I couldn't stand by and see my friends and colleagues duped by such an obvious ploy, but no matter now. There is no release. There is only slaughter awaiting those unfortunate enough to be chosen.
Traveler! Friend! Have you been caught by these pretenders too?
Cellar of death!
Yes, Traveler, yes! You seemed a gentle soul. I tried to share with you the goddess's revelation. I never intended for either of us to meet like this, Oh, Traveler, I came from my home in Sicil to this realm of the Immaculate. But I saw terrible things, Traveler. Things I could not fathom that the goddess would command. When my brothers saw my doubt, I was seized and tossed. Of that I dare not speak, Traveler.
At least there aren't any of those.
These naughty demons about.
Pleasure, my liege. Pleasure. How can we help you? Oh, we're nobody. Nobody and nobody's, my liege. No, no. You'll not hear a peep of trouble out of us. In fact, perhaps we might be rather useful. Tighten your screws, can we? Fix a broken cell door? Well, a very strange question. I hadn't considered it myself. No, it's... How does one explain it properly? It's in our very nature to thrive behind bars. Yes, indeed. Slaves, we are. And servants, cannon fodder. Vivisection subjects, living footstools. Yes. We imps live to serve. And then we... But I suppose I do suppose that if the door were wide open like that, I suppose we might. Well, I suppose we might have a look around.
Oh, hello there. Oh, we're nobody. Nobody and...
At least there aren't any demons about. At least there aren't any of those.
The volume of the blood can cause quite a mess, you can imagine. So we're careful to perform the sacrifice within our specialized chamber.
It isn't sight, is it?
You there! Cut it out!
Well, I outside, but what she needs is a hand. My hand out of this abyss. Gods, we must learn dread. I cannot. What's more, if
The Lady of Time. Good to see you on the shelter. You'll have to... You have to trace this...
Source Hunter. Ah, yes, that. But certainly. What would you like to know?
how might I son Leandra, though they be baptized?
Talk to the apprentice if you wish to browse the wares. That nincompoop needs the practice. Do you hear that?
Greetings! Feel free to browse our wares. Highest quality equipment at the lowest prices, you know.
What sort of business?
Oh, what do I care about such nonsense anyway? I never saw anybody so much. They're Rivellon's most yellow-bellied chickens. Reminds me of a song I know. The imps are out running. The moon is full and bright. They're squeals and wails and
Watch out, this river never comes on there is right way.
True competition. Whoops.
Make it quick now. Just because I am gracious enough to tolerate that fool couldn't be trusted with... Yes! I think I've spent rather enough time explaining the Immaculate Way to you. If you aren't yet convinced, you've got the mark of a lost one upon you.
Pleasant for who?
So, whoa there, Hartford. Take care now, and don't go pestering.
Careful now, Squishy. I hope you're not... Well, you know what they say. A watched Attenborough never goes on a murderous...
We should get another apprentice. And watch her blast into smithereens.
Dear me, it is happening! The void, the darkness, dear me, dear... There's this place, this pit that lies to the north. It is a rift of chaos, an epicenter of a time and space-devouring force. Void demons are besetting Rivellon, and the storms of chaos are... Demons creep through the rift! They must... Not just any demons. Void demons. They are impervious to attacks with weapons or magic that any creature of this world can muster. But they have one weakness. For their simmering presence has permeated this area through a tenebrium. That is the answer. The black ore that is dark as the void itself. Arm yourself with this foul material, and you shall be able to shred their bloodstone that controls their portal. The rift is the portal through which the demons seep. There is blood magic at work here. And he who says blood magic says I've scouted ahead of it and seen that 3 paths, or what passes for paths, lead to the left is an encampment of immaculates. Yes, but the central path is a big no-no too, brimming, which leaves the right path, which may not be the right path at all. So basically I can offer you 3 options, all of them as appetizing as pig feed. And yet you'll have to swallow your portion whole. If not, the end of time will be swept into the void, and they exist beyond the normal continuum of time. They are here, and they are sweeping through the winds of chaos at the end of ages, shredding what they find. Unless they are defeated, your home away from home shall do what you can, my friend. Do not falter. All
strawberry jam.
You have paid your stipend, my friend, and free passage it has bought you. Cross the bridge with our blessing. The bridge is yours. Now, to be gallant, Amadeus.
Have a nice day, sir.
You have paid your stipend, my... The bridge is yours.
Have a...
Dear me, it is happening! There's this place. This pity, not the rift. I've scouted to the left, the switch, so they do what...
A great power.
Into the pregnant wilds they went. Into the devil's den they crept.
What's the word, Source? How might I serve?
Source Hunter. Source Hunter. What?
How might I serve? The tapestry of time has not been struck by flaming debris as yet. But time is long enough.
Ouch! These bleeding meteors have burnt holes in my favorite sneakers, knickers, and trousers.
What's the word, Source Hunter?
Want to cross the bridge, Daddy? Do we have to pay the toll too? Who to? Look at all the red ooze coming from those daddies. Is that strawberry jam?
dear me, it is happening! There's this place, this pit that lies to the north. It is a rift of chaos. Demons creep through the... Not just any demons. Void demons. Tenebrium, that is the answer. The rift is the portal through which the demons seep. There is blood magic at work here. I've scouted ahead a bit and seen that 3 paths, or what passes for paths, to the left is an encampment of Immaculates. Yes, they're but Immaculates, but their weapons look sharp as sharp. The central path is a big no-no too, which leaves the right path. So basically I can offer you, they exist beyond the normal continuum of time. They are here, and they are sweeping through. Do what you can, my friend.
Southeast to Hunter's Edge, north to Incomparable Suffering.
Well then. Southeast it is, for now at least.
Soon as I'm through knocking this loudmouth back in. The fool thinks he can slick 6 warm bodies past Rumble for the price of 1, he does. Lousy bomb, me as well thieve from King Gungia's very
If I've said it once, I've said it more times than a troll can count. Warm bodies do not people make. We are 3 Immaculates and 3 slaves, and I won't empty my pocket over chattel.
can spare the gold after all. Better to end this conflict before it escalates.
Oh, the gentle tinkling of gold! Intoxicating! Go past, Skullbearer, and tell your fool of a friend he may do the same. No wonder you came to my aid. I see you have an immaculate amulet, the very same as mine. The goddess does bless us with good friends and good fortune during our times of need. Hide to the village ahead and rest yourself among your kin, but do take care. Only those in possession of our holy amulets may enter, and the guards are a savage sort. They won't hesitate to gut you if they suspect you aren't one of us.
Go on, march!
Jingle, jingle, precious gold. The keg will be pleased indeed.
Goddess be with you, friend. Now excuse us, we've lost more time than the understands the shiny stuff.
Toll, so get to us Hunter's Edge, chicken bones. But you ought to know that if you've joined up with these immaculate whatevers, I've earned a pretty mountain of gold standing between the village and the mines, watching you kind drag slaves and corpses to it, wheelbarrows full of them. You must be making dead man stew over in Lucula. Oh, bring a bowl next time you pass through, do. It's been ages since I had a nice dead man stew.
The hen who shares her feed receives a greater second helping.
And so let them...
service pleases me greatly.
Welcome back. The rock spirit within me greets the rock spirit. Earth's vibe. Welcome back. The rock spirit within me breeds the rock spirit. Vibration. May the Earth's vibration.
spirit.
Vibrate.
As good as a new penny.
The rock spirit within me greets the rock spirit. May the earth's vibrate.
Returned, my brilliant friend. What is it that you wish to know?
restored.
Welcome back. The rock spirit within me greets the rock spirit. May the earth's Welcome back. The rock spirit greets the rock spirit. May the earth's Welcome back. May the earth's Welcome back. The rock spirit within me greets the rock spirit. May the earth's
Into the fray once more. I feel better already.
Beware of the lost ones out there, Wanderer. Their blood is impure.
Mara, let it go. So good of you to drop by, my liege. As always, be welcome.
You always this hot.
Ever shot a bullseye in your sleep? Well, no wonder with your skill book as empty. Watch where you're going. These beauties will pierce you to the bone. So, do you fancy a trade then? Come now, before my ale arrives.
Quite a fine skeleton beneath that hide of yours, isn't there? Yes, a lovely, sturdy thing. I bet it'll last 100 generations, if treated properly.
And the goddess's hand smart daddy who work against the greater good.
That is a fine perspective. Hail the goddess's hand.
Are you always this hot?
Where the wind blows, the goddess breathes. Where the rivers run, the goddess weeps. How can I connect you to our eternal goddess, my friend?
Goddess greetings, friend. Her greatness gave us fire, her greatness gave us earth, and my savvy brings you spells at the best rate in town. Come, give me your best offer.
You believe in the gods, baby, because you're the answer to all my prayers. Come hither, sweetheart. Oh, if I had a star for every time you brighten my day, I'd have a galaxy in my hand. Come hither, sweetheart. or if I had a star for every time you brighten my day, I'd have a galaxy in my hand. You believe in the gods, baby, 'cause you're the answer to all my prayers. Come hither, sweetheart, or if I had a star for every time you brighten my day, I'd have a galaxy in my hand. Come hither, sweetheart, or if I had a star for every time you brighten my day, I'd have a galaxy in my hand. You believe in the gods, baby, 'cause you're the answer to all my prayers. Come hither, sweetheart, or if I had a star for every time you brighten my day, I'd have a galaxy in my hand.
We were lucky for the goddess's salvation, or we too would have fallen victim to Laurence's greed.
Tell
The
me, sweetie,
feet!
you had someone...
May the goddess
Are you
stomp him
always-
beneath her fiery feet for eternity.
Well said. Let's see him buy his way out of her fine fury.
Tell me, sweetie, you had someone, or are you always this hot? Come hither, sweetheart, or if I had a star for every time you brighten my day, I'd have a galaxy in my hand. You believe in the gods, baby, 'cause you're the answer to all my prayers. Come hither, sweetheart, or if I had a star for every time you brighten my day, I'd have a galaxy in my hand. Tell me, sweetie, you had someone, or are you always this hot? Tell me, sweetie, you had someone, or are you always this hot? You believe in the gods, baby, 'cause you're the answer to all my prayers. Come hither, sweetheart, or if I had a star for every time you brighten my day, I'd have a galaxy in my hand. Tell me, sweetie, you had someone, or are you always this hot? Come hither, sweetheart, or if I had a star for every time you brighten my day, I'd have a galaxy in my hand.
Stop spinning the time here for eternity.
Come hither, sweetheart, or if I had a star for every time you brighten my day, I'd have a galaxy in my hand. You believe in the gods, baby, because you're the answer to all my prayers.
Addressing us?
sodden all the way to my boot soles.
Bloody floods! We can't pass through here.
And me without my swimming trunks. It never rains, but it pours, eh?
Now I missed my nose. Must smell like delicious spit roast round here. Oh there, a word of warning, wanderer, afore you continue on your merry way. See these corpses here? Be a good fellow and take them as a hint that this town isn't the pastoral little paradise it once was. Immaculates, orcs and humans both, have taken Hunter's Edge. Its villagers are now slaves in the mines to the west, or they've been bled dry of their last drop of life, reduced to mere fuel that must light the wicked candle that is bloodstone. Long as you live in the limbo between coming and going, though, why not have a look at what I have to sell? You'd be surprised to see what a scouring skeleton can gather together in a dying town. Yeah! Well, don't go round angering Immaculates if you want to keep your vitals intact. Though perhaps it won't be very long before they have a stab at one another's vitals instead. I have the feeling there's trouble brewing between the orcs and the humans in there, and who can blame 'em really? Just ain't natural for 'em to consort, I say. Only good orc... Well, you know how the phrase goes. Can't say I remember who I was before the change came over me, but these days I'm a travelling trader of sorts. There's an immaculate necromancer in the village ahead. She's the one who brought me back from, well, wherever I was. She's an especially bright one, you know. Most necromancers can only revive a dead corpse into an animated one, but she manages to yank back some semblance of consciousness too. I don't remember much, but the thrill of trade certainly calls to me. Maybe I was a merchant in my former life. Who knows? These days, most undead are busy haunting Syceal or picking the way in the Lucula mines. But I keep a low profile and stay out of sight. Haven't been bothered by an immaculate yet, and I hope to keep it that way. My, spleen get lodged in here. I don't mess around with these immaculates. An intact finger! Just what that deviant of an orc was looking for. Now I miss my nose. Must smell like delicious spit roast round here. This wall could really do with a lick of paint. I'd love to get some ugly electrodes. Ruptured, trampled. To think I could have made a fortune selling all of these to a whimsical taxidermist. There's still meat on those bones. Must have been the miller's boy. Muscles strong as marble he had. I spy 2 little eyes, all smashed to bits against the wood. My, you're still alive! Way to beat the odds, Wanderer! Must have been the miller's boy. Muscles strong as marble he had.
false alarm. Just a few yards of intestine.
Sweet relief. I needed that.
There's still meat on those bones. Must have been the miller's boy. Muscles strong as marble he had. My, how did a spleen get lodged in here? They don't mess around, these immaculates. Do you think I could have made a fortune selling all of these to a windscreen taxidermist? Now I missed my nose. Must smell like delicious spit roast round here. My, you're still alive. Way to beat the odds, Wanderer.
I'm warm as fresh apple pie.
My, you're still alive. Way to beat the odds, Wanderer. Is that one of them lovely Baywater belts? Oh, no, false alarm. Just a few yards of intestine.
Meow.
I hope your quest fares well, dear hunter. I'm watching on with weary eyes how the Immaculates strike again. They've gone from shedding blood among their own to recruiting orcs and cutthroats to do it for them. From what I can tell, the village of Hunter's Edge is this cult's most wretched victim. He has a residence at the far end of town. Though I have my doubts he's having people over for tea now that the know that Zandalore is wily, so beware. If a wizard doesn't want you in his home, you'll know it. Pity the intruder that heedlessly tries to... Nevertheless, his house is the very... It was once a quiet sort of village. Families and small-time merchants mostly. Recently, it was targeted by a tribe of orcs waving the Their leader, Grutilda, is known far and wide for her cruelty and cunning. She oversaw the murder of countless villagers and used their blood to fuel a great number of bloodstones. Once they were dead, by order of Leandra, the orcs were joined by a tribe of humans from the northern peaks of Tanneroth. A band of male warriors are they, and they devote allegiance to their leader, Jarl. Jarl arrived with his own formidable supply of bloodstones, which means his tribe has been operating under directions from the conduit for some time. Where once they ransacked for base pleasure and material gain, now these are far from the blindly devoted Immaculates of Silverglen, however. The orcs and the humans here alternate between bitter fighting and hostile peace. Personally, I believe they're best exploited through their rivalry. Get them to fight each other, and you can stand on the sidelines and warm yourself upon...
Meow.
I'm warm as fresh apple pie.
I'm warm as
You
fresh
there,
apple-
Flatlander. Stay at your business. Come to play now the town's been taken, have you? Typical, you Flatlanders. Lucky for you, the goddess don't discriminate against cowards. Well, come quickly then. There's still townsfolk on the loose, and the chase has probably made them wild as cornered dogs. One might pop out of a bush and take an eye. Better you first check in with the higher-ups. You've got Jarl, the righteous leader of Weir the Mountain, and blood-stained Gratilda, queen dog of the giant toads. Trust me, you'll know her when you see her. Now scrap and make your introductions before word gets to them there's an intruder here. Well, I'll let you in. Get on with your business then. Jarl and Grutilda are probably in their quarters at the back of town. I'd take up your business with them before you end up hanged as an intruder.
Today, boss, have got the human, and it's itching like mad. What? Free to address your betters, are you? I ain't afraid of a one of you. Then why not stand up and face me?
Sodden all the way to my boot soles.
You're keeping the peace for now. Chief's orders. That other tusk's yours to keep in the meantime.
That's so. Jarl can't stand the thought of his old tribe getting ripped to shreds, can he? Poor fellow. Living in fear under the great Matilda's boot.
Go on then, Frogskin. We'll see who'll end up beneath those boots.
Is that what you call those thimbles on your toesies?
I could do with a cold drink.
Human, leave the lambs out to these. I serve the old mother. Apart from that, I'm nothing. And if you ain't trained to address your betters, are you? Blasted mosquitoes. Never a moment's peace with these filthy vermin buzzing in me. Oh, brother, I've crossed me pests. 'Tweren't a tiny winged bloodsucker whining at me, but a tiny-footed brother. I think the human's asking me a question. Think I ought to tell the tiny pest who I am? Or I tell her I lost his horn in a scuffle with another ickle you? That pesky bugger might have got me all. Once I split an humans.
Nice to see a fresh face that ain't green as troll snot. Yes, Nick?
Human, Big ugly brute making me do my
Gazing at the holes of souls. Or am I
I
wrong?
prefer to drown my sorrows with ale.
Your mother won't like to hear a human's been sleeping. You know damn well.
Look here! Look at you! How I admire one whose head is lodged so firmly upon their shoulders, like a spire that rests upon the breadth of its fan. Not I, alas. I fare not so. For I may replace my battered cranium as jauntily as a wizard may his hat. Just consider some of these examples here before me. How I admire this one's kingly brow, that one's exquisite jaw, yonder one's deep-set sockets that held a warrior. Why make a permanent choice? Why not cater to the occasion as called for? I would, but for the question. And so I ask, where are you, O ephemeral soul? If in a tooth you may be pulled, if in an arm you may be broken, where are you, O delicate, as have we all? Townsfolk would sit on these benches and talk about their day. Children would sprinkle water. Now their mouths neither talk nor snigger any longer. And all that is sprinkled about is blood. Days pass me by no longer, only the dreams of what was, but can never be again. Surely you jest when you question this question's importance. Say I opt for that there fair-featured sovereign of a star. What happens if another soul lies there? If I play the part of the aforementioned wizard, and swap its rugged lineaments for the feeble ones that are mine? Yes. Who is I then? Were I sure that the soul houses within the chest, within one's little toe for all I care, I would fret not so. But the certainty I long for remains as impossible. You... oh...
I said you're so stupid. Squatting over in the tree.
I concur. Pick a new skull if you want one. It's not going to change who you are.
But of course, why was I so blind? The soul is not of the body, it is of the spirit. A new skull I shall have, but sane person I'll remain. Oh, the agony of choice. I think I'll opt for the one with the kingly brow. What? Where in the blazes? The last I knew was an orc coming at me with an axe.
You don't look like the rest of the Immaculates.
Big ugly brute making me. I kicked him for a tight shot.
I need to dry off. This is taking bloody ages.